Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. From the deepest jungles to the outmost reaches of space and beyond the veils of death itself, the Bald and Bonkers Boys are back for another episode. It's no secret that you won't know what will happen next, but Dakota Franson and Chris Moore promise that all bets are off. Viewer discretion and straitjackets advised. These two idiots live up to the name.
Well, what'd you think of that one?
That was really good. It was spacey and futury, and I felt like I was in the Galactic Federation there.
That was great. That was really great. Really classy.
Yeah,
Made it myself.
very good. I must admit, I like the spaceships and all that kind of stuff. I felt like I was getting transported into a different dimension. In fact, I was hoping that they would transport me into a different dimension. You never know.
This is Bald and Bonkers. You never know what's going to happen with us.
Exactly.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are pleased to welcome the beautiful Dani Henderson, spiritual therapist. I'm already with the few minutes before the show started. This is already going to be a crazy episode, and if you've been following us for a while, you know there's no limit to what's going to happen.
Oh God.
So, Dani, how are you?
I am fantastic, guys. I really am. I'm so excited and flattered that you've invited me to come on for an interview. I hardly ever do interviews with anybody, but I'm really excited to come and play with you boys.
Yeah, as the description says, let's see if you can survive us.
Yes, I will.
Bring the pal, I'm fucking Scottish, isn't I? What do you have, pal? I dare you. Come on.
Oh my
To
God.
the Highland. Come on now.
Oh my God, this is that is funny. It's just funny, guys, because I didn't expect you to have the Scottish accent, because I'm not used to meeting all these Americans and Elena with her French accent. She just sits there and then looks at Dakota and then looks back at me and then looks at Dakota.
That's quite funny because Elena actually speaks 7 languages, 8 languages. She's also learning ancient Sumerian right now.
Oh.
Yeah, so she can't understand you. It's hilarious. All the languages.
I didn't know she could speak those languages. I didn't know I know that she was an archaeologist, and I know she goes to Egypt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But ancient Sumerian, that'll actually come in really handy in her line of work.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes.
It really is. She actually taught me, as you know, do some paranormal investigations. Yeah. That's kind of where I started in this. And she taught me to tell viewers a really beautiful, powerful, ancient Sumerian mantra that banishes dark entities, dark negative frequencies. And it's a really simple, straightforward. It is just simply Gigim Hul Bara. Gigim Hul Bara. And depending on the frequency you use, you can emit love, because of course, some of the demonics or darker entities, they literally cannot handle the frequency of love. Or you match rage on rage, which I've come to understand sometimes in an investigation. I've had to match the frequency coming at me, so you can match frequency. But the other interesting thing is the great evil monster, Google. If you Google Gigim Hul Bara, which is GIGM XHUL, Bara, BARRA. If you Google that, it will say to you that it means going out for food, which is such an evil lie on Google's arse. If you go to an honest, browser like DuckDuckGo, it will say Gigim Hul Bara means bad spirit be gone. So just so people know, Google is not your friend. Not sorry.
Oh no. No. We all know that Google and whoever else, Microsoft and stuff like that, the people, they don't work for the good guys, as one would say.
No.
No.
Scumbag family altogether.
Yeah. So, speaking of, your early days, how did you get started in all this?
I was literally born awake, what I call awake. I remember my birth. And I remember being in the womb. And I remember at my birth, the memories were very violent. What I came to learn was that my mother went through a routine checkup with me, and the doctors and nurses said there's something seriously wrong with this unborn child. She's probably going to die. We need to take her to a special hospital with a special machine that if she does get in trouble, we can hopefully save her. And so at my birth, now my mum is alive, but my mother died giving birth. So she actually flipped roles, and she hemorrhaged, and she died, and she had a near-death experience. And she says it was like she slipped out of her body, and she was above the bed looking down. She sees all the blood where she's hemorrhaging. She can see people, doctors and nurses rushing around. In those days, my dad was outside because they didn't let the men come in and see the ladies birthing for whatever reason. They thought that was smart. I totally disagree with that thinking. She basically was fine being out of her body. She had a little boy at home. He was with my grandmother, and she was witnessing herself. And then she turns and she sees the tunnel that we hear about, goes towards the light. Yes. And the voice said, "You are not ready." And then she said it was so violent coming back into her body. It was a violent jolting. And then she was in and out of consciousness for 5 days, and I was kept away from her. I was fine. I just had severe jaundice and a couple of other complications that were just done with very quickly. But yeah, I really came in with a violent force, shall we say.
That's very interesting how you mentioned how you can remember your birth, because that's happened to me. That happened to me. And Dakota knows the story. I'm not getting into it now, but that's so interesting, that, because really quickly in my one, I can remember walking down a hallway. Was it a hallway? I've asked a lot of like psychics and mediums and stuff. Was it a hallway? Because I can remember seeing lots of other people with me, and when I looked behind me, there was lots of people standing, and then all of a sudden, like that, I was like in this room with nurses and doctors standing round about me.
Well, this might help. This might help put that little piece there. When I came out, I remember being roughly handled and seeing the bright lights, seeing lights, because you're in a hospital room, and it was horrible, and it was cold, and it was startling on my physical beingness. And then I remember being rushed down a corridor, but I could see through. I was in an incubator, and it was glass or whatever, clear. And I remember seeing the black and white floors, Victorian hospital, and the green Victorian painted walls. And then years later, I'm watching TV with my brothers, and my mum's combing her hair, hiding her hair at the mirror. And there's the news is on, and then there's an image of the hospital, and I start crying. My mum goes, "What?" And I went, "Mummy, I know there." And she said, "You were born there. How could you possibly know there?" And that was a realization. My God, and then I got more. So it could be that you were being taken down. The doctors and nurses were behind you, and your awareness is just coming into the physical body, and then. Right?
Right. I'm going to say to you, I'm in shock. Dakota, because you're a third person, I've told you my birth story.
I was about, okay, what was the name of the hospital? Because that sounds almost exactly like what he told me.
Really?
Exactly. It's exactly. But the hospital I was born in was knocked down a couple of years after I was born.
Yeah, so was mine. My hospital was knocked down too. It was called. Hello, twin brother.
What the heck?
Yeah, I was born in Hastings, and it was the Buchanan Hotel, Hastings, East Sussex, in England.
I was born in Scotland, but the room when I was born, the first thing that I remember, the floors were. It was a Victorian hospital, but the floor, maybe it was just the same person built it. I don't know, but. The floors were red tiles, but the walls were green tiles.
Yeah, it's wonderful though, isn't it? Because it just goes against what we're told and programmed to believe. Know that's real. You've never doubted it. You've wondered what it was, but it's so beautiful because when you anchor that in, you then realize, wow, I can remember more just by verifying to myself that that's a real memory. Yeah, and we just ignore the authorities that try and stifle us. Yeah.
It's very interesting because it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder that it's why did they give you that memory? Why did they give you that memory to remember?
Well, you gave it to you. You determined when you came in you were going to remember certain things. You determined that at some point in life you'd gather enough paranormal experiences.
Yeah.
You determined in life that you'd be sitting on your own show, creating a network to broadcast to the planet. Listen, I remember this. If you remember this, believe it. I believe you. You're someone that says, I believe you, because you know what it's like. You own that truth.
See, that's what, yeah, because that's what got me started in the paranormal. That's what started me off, because I could remember that I wanted to know who those people were that were standing behind me and with me.
Yeah.
Certainly gives you a lot to think about.
I'm still in shock. There you
go. Me too. I'm actually dumbfounded. That's awfully. That's got to be a new record.
I'm waiting for something else to happen. I'm waiting for something else to happen, because on this show, weird things happen. Really
I was
weird
noticing
things
kind
happen.
of flashing lights next to Dani right about now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wee twinkles of light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to get. It's always good to get some actual phenomena on camera, especially when you're live. I love that. I love when that happens. I just saw. Oh no, I was literally on a Zoom before this with Jeannie Jablonski, my friend, and she's live with a herd of horses. And I was on that live. There were 20 other people, and it was so beautiful. I've been bawling because the love of these horses was incredible. They're called the singing herd. And then I was sitting here, and I'm in an Airbnb at the moment, and on this wall, literally just something opened up in the wall, like this black and blue image just opened up in the wall. Oh, there's Dots MC from Ireland. Hi, Dots.
Hey, Dots.
Bald and Bonkers.
It's definitely Bald and Bonkers. It's definitely. Can you tell us a wee bit about your healing, the kind of healing work that you do? Because I find that very interesting.
There's different layers. I mean, I don't profess that I am a healer. I can heal you. Come to me. You know, I don't do any of that. I just exactly. Follow me, and I will bless you for the rest of your life. Give me all your money and your soul. No, I don't play that game. Yeah, so I've always had an ability to, ever since birth, ever since being a tiny child, I haven't respected adults since I was 7 years old. I knew they were all full of shit and liars, and they were terrified, and they literally couldn't see what I see. And so my entire life, like, I look at people, I can see in them, I can see through them, I can see behind. I can see the layers and levels of where they be. If they lie to me, a color comes out, or I hear a guttural sound, depending on the darkness they're carrying, I can really feel that frequency, and it lights up in different colors. If someone is being dishonest, if somebody is connected, let's say, to gray extraterrestrials, they smell of shit, because the extraterrestrial gray species, most of them literally smell like arse. And if there's a reptilian connotation, there is a scaly resemblance. There is sometimes a blue-green on them. I will see them physically shift in front of me. As a child, it was unbearably frightening. I, from 6 years old, kept trying to find ways to die. I didn't know the word suicide. I just used to run around, walk around praying, please, can I be dead? Please, can I die? I was trying to hold my breath in the bath water. I would try and hold my breath in bed, cover myself with my blanket, because the horrors that would come and haunt me and physically poke me, touch me, were beyond, and no adult ever believed me. That's how I knew at 7 they were all full of shit and not to be trusted, and couldn't see what I see. But I came in with a force and a vigor and a light that I have been blessed to start out as a career as a nursery nurse, and then move into therapy. And I've been able to work with many different people, look at them clairvoyantly, holistically, psychologically. And again, like you, Chris, and I know you, Dakota, with your, ET connections and physiology, is that when other adults feel a safety with you, we're like the three of us, like, people talk to us and they know that we know, they know that we get it, they know that they can land in a safe place with us, because we're not going to mock them. We're not going to tell them they're crazy. We're not going to abuse them like we were abused.
It's interesting because I know that there's life after death. I know that there's definitely life after death. But then there's the bit of me that's definitely there is others watching this planet as we speak. I mean, they're probably watching us right now. They're probably sitting there watching this as we speak. And I find that so intriguing because I've had my experiences with them. But I know Dakota's got more experiences with as well, family. I look up because I experienced his family. And when I first met him, and it was just weird how it all tied in. And it's how they've chose us, which I find very intriguing. It's like I know that Dakota's past, he worked with them, right? I don't know my past. I don't know if I did what I did. I don't know. But I find it so intriguing that there's these entities out there that are so much older than us. And they've taken so much. I'm amazed. I'll tell you what I'm really amazed with the extraterrestrials. I'm amazed with the fact that they've taken their time with the Earth and they've no lost their temper. Well, that's what amazes me with them.
I mean, they wouldn't, because the fact is, you say that they're older than us. I don't believe that at all. When I look at the three of us are all old, ancient souls. And we are the brave ones. We are braver than anything they are doing or watching. To take another body to be back here at this time of ascension, we are the brave ones. They are in awe of us. And you bet they're watching. They're guarding. They're protecting as much as they can. And they're bearing witness to us taking on our soul contracts to be here and help in every way that we came to help and learn the things that we came to learn and understand, and have the courage to do what you're doing, broadcast live and build your network, which is all about you guys reaching people and helping people, right?
Exactly.
I will say that being on the Earth is a hard experience, but obviously I don't know how many times I've done this. So this could be my 397th time on this plane of existence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just amazed at how everything's starting to slowly come out now. I know that the way the world is the new, with wars and famine and fighting, and nobody just, you know what I'm saying, and it's everything is slowly. I think we're at the precipice. We're at the point where I think it soon will all come out, like disclosure and stuff like that, and I think it will help. Yeah,
Chris,
and it needs to happen.
It's full on in your face, mate, every day. I mean, the more you look at the Muppets who chose leadership roles for themselves, the real retards, if you look in the dictionary, that's where you'll see the leaders of our planet. That's where that word belongs, not on our beautiful, what some people call slower-minded or autistic. How very dare society try and socially engineer our most gifted humans as retards? How dare they wash their mouths out with soap? So I apply that to them quite fiercely, and with, I feel, good judgment and justness. That they are, it's so funny to me how they are failing and floundering and scrabbling and scratching for a foothold, but there's no foothold. They're just grabbing at oil, because humanity has awoken. Enough of us now are saying, get the fuck out of here, get off my planet, get out of my way, or I am mowing you over. And they're like, not scared, mate, not scared. There's nothing left. And as soon as people decide, each individual soul must decide themselves to stop being afraid, to stop living in fear. I mean, look at the last 3 years. Where did that get us? The fear of, if I don't have that, I'll lose my family, I'll lose my job, I won't be able to travel, I won't be able to, all the different reasons why people took the decision. And God loved them all. God loved them all. I have compassion for every single person that was so frightened and Nazi, MK Ultra'd, programmed into truly believing. They truly believed they had no choice. There's all these others judging and mocking, and how dare they? How dare they? You know.
Well, I was one of the few that didn't take it. And I was treated, I was like, oh, you're this and you're that, and you can't go here and you can't go there, and you're this and this. And I says, I find no problem. I was the only one in my entire family that didn't get it.
Yeah.
And now they're all turning around to me, oh, how can I get it out my system?
Yeah, bless.
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, there's lots of different ways. So many different ways. Sasha Stone is coming out with, he's been working with some Romania. Watch Romania, guys. Romania has, I mean, there's so much that historically things happen. Do you remember when they were throwing away the orphans and there was footage of these orphan children, all naked, all drugged, all piled bodies on top of each other? That's how Romania took care of its orphan children at one point. And now there's been this complete resurgence because there's so much history and magic and truth of the reality of our planet in Romania. And so the Romanian energy frequency is rising, and there are doctors and scientists that have literally created frequency machinery, extraction technologies that are going to help people to remove the nano, are we on YouTube? Because you know how bitchy YouTube is. Are we on?
Oh, but everywhere.
Okay, I just want to,
YouTube.
You know,
make it hard for them to take us out.
Look,
Chinese.
I don't care if they take you.
Yeah.
I don't care if they take it.
I don't want to
I
be
mean,
part
they're going
of,
everywhere.
you know, part of that, because I mean, I've had my channel slammed a couple of times, and you know, kiss my ass. You know, we just keep going. I just call them the boob tube bullies. Again, zero respect. What a bunch of scumbags. So, you know, when they do take a channel down now, it's so interesting to look, because some of the people that have been what I call the 2D people, these are the people that strove only for fame and fortune. These are the people that strove to literally be a leader and to have followers. Anyone like that, I seriously suspect. I seriously do. You know, none above another is one of my phrases, my mantras, none above another, you know, because everyone's got something to put into the field to support humanity. And so some of these 2Ders that were all banding together and attacking Elena Denan, let's say, and myself and all the rest of it, now they're all arguing, they're all fighting, they're all turning in on each other. And I have compassion for them. It's kind of sad. There's only a couple of twats I don't care about. I'm so glad that Perez boy's got a good kicking, because he really did dare to take on a beautiful man, Alex Collier, who for 34 years, that man was the only person on our planet saying to camera, there were reptilians here, they are harming our children. You know, he was mocked, he was berated, he was threatened by the actual mafia. That man has opened the minds of literally millions. If you look at my channel, some of my beautiful friends, speakers, let's say Tony Rodriguez. Tony Rodriguez remembers seeing Alex when he was a little boy, going, oh my God, yes, there's someone talking about what Tony knew, because Tony was kidnapped by Illuminati, satanic family when he was 10. And so Alex is a long-term veteran. He has so many scars on his back. He's been so abused. And this little pop-up boy comes out of nowhere, deep state shill, and starts daring to go against Alex. And so, of course, he got a kicking. You know, you can only take it so far when even the most tolerant of leaders, of seasoned warriors, of seasoned knights of this earth will say, right, that's it. You're getting a slap, boy. You're going to get yourself a Glasgow kiss.
That's brilliant, by the way. That's so brilliant. I need to live real shows with you.
You're doing, you bastard.
Hey, the room. I'm coming for you.
Yeah. Let that be a lesson to all the other shitheads who were trying to come out and say, oh, good, he's been moved aside. Now it's my turn. Watch yourself there, boy. Watch yourself.
I will say, I watch Elena's stuff, and Elena is such a real person. She really is. And I follow her videos, I watch all her stuff, and it's absolutely amazing. But see when somebody goes after somebody really nice like that, it just shows you. It just shows you they obviously they've got something to hide. These people that are only doing it for fame, and
Yeah.
look at them now. You know what I mean? What they
Yeah,
got? What they got to do when everybody turns up? You know what I mean? They're going. "Ooh," like, you know what I mean? It's madness.
It is.
So they'll be
Yeah.
shitting their pants and they're running for their mothers.
Aye.
Yeah, you know, with Elena Danan, who you're referring to, she's actually my best friend in the world. We've had many past lives together. We've come together. I support her. Of course, I stand publicly shoulder to shoulder with her. And I think the most disturbing thing that's happened to the two of us together is the men, the violent men in the public who have come forward. You know, one guy, one red-bearded guy, who did a 2-hour drunken, sloppy rant on his channel, and it was going to punch us and knock us out cold. I mean, literally threatening physical violence. The other bellend, Ishmael Perez, dared to come out a few months ago saying Elena was murdered and a clown. What a dickhead to do that. How long did he... That was gonna, like, how much work has that woman put into the field? How much information that has been verified by science? Like, come on. You know, I think the delusion of fame and celebrity has really been kind of a blanket covering. And now people who genuinely love you, genuinely want to be part of this beautiful ascension and get their ego out the way, are starting to see. And there's just no, that old model of celebrity and fame and fortune, it's dead. Just look at Hollywood. Like, knock, knock, it's dead.
Oh yeah, Hollywood is definitely going down. It's no got long. It's no got long left, especially what's coming out with the kind of child trafficking and stuff like that. I
Just
mean,
look at everything that's going on with Sounds of Freedom right now.
Yeah, have you seen that yet? Have you had a chance to see it?
I have.
I've not seen it yet.
Oh my God! So tomorrow night I'm broadcasting with two of the strongest female warriors on our planet, Kathy O'Brien. Kathy O'Brien. If people have never heard of Kathy O'Brien, that woman has reported all the presidents and senators and governors that, can I say the word rape? Let's call it vape. That raped her. The most famous presidents. She names them. 2 different administrations took her, used her. She was MK Ultra'd. Started with her father raping and abusing her. He hadn't paid taxes. He was found out to be abusing this little girl. CIA pay him. It's all in books. It's all in her book, The Transformation of America. She is revealed to the world. She's another one like Alex Collier that stands head and shoulders above the masses. So she bravely wrote her book. She was a slave and her little girl was born, and they did the same to her daughter, the same to her little girl. Okay, and I'm going to have to stop myself there because it's just too graphic and violent and horrific. But her book, Transformation of America. Anyway, it's all come out. So I'm interviewing with her tomorrow and Dr. Christiane Northrup, one of the foremost surgeons, female medical doctors on our planet, who was in a group of people who at one point were called the Trusted 12 Doctors in America. Once she started revealing the darkness in the medical industrial complex, if you look her up on Wikipedia, or I call it Wicked Pedophile, now, you can't trust anything on the internet because they dared to call Dr. Christiane Northrup a conspiracy theorist. How dare they? Kathy O'Brien, you know, revealing MK Ultra, naming the disgusting, filthy, dirty presidents that raped and abused her and her little girl, right? They call her a conspiracy theorist. Shame on them. Shame on them. No one's getting away with shit anymore. Everyone. So you guys out there, you admire these people. Your heart's going to be broken when you realize you're giving kudos to scumbags that abuse children and adults, and we're all into. And you know, the biggest drug pushers on the planet, the governments, they're using. Oh my God, I'm on a rant. Is that okay? Can I just go?
Go for it. Go for it.
Get it all out your system.
Pull me up.
Get the popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably going to take a while.
Right, I'm going to sit back here with my zesty beverage.
I never do interviews, but it's come to light, and so many of us already knew this, that over the years, since at least the 1930s, we've had retro-engineered or back-engineered craft that didn't all crash. Oh, how many bloody clumsy aliens do you actually think there are? They're just bloody falling out the sky. Of course they're not. They're deliberately leaving craft here. There have been a couple of accidents, and they were the nefarious aliens, the little shithead turds, the greys, that weren't even supposed to be here. If you come in on nefarious activity, you don't think the Nordics are going to help you land uncomfortably? Like, hello. Anyway, so we have all this back-engineered technology, and some people who've seen like the square craft, the black stealth UFOs, that's back-engineered, that's military. There are men and women flying those crafts from the military, from the Earth military. So half the stuff you're seeing in the sky is human-driven or extraterrestrial. And like, it's just common knowledge now. It's like actually old news, but it's still new news to some people coming into the fold.
Exactly. I mean, last few days alone for over here where I'm in Idaho, just looking up in the sky, you see, stars all of a sudden missing because, something's flying right past them. Something's always moving past the moon. And I'm just like, I need to get a GoPro strapped to my head. This is, wow.
Do you know the best thing? I just interviewed today my friend Greg Prescott. I love Greg. You should totally get him on your show. He's got this whole platform. It's called In 5D. He is a genius, astrologer, tarot reader. He was leading the fray in the Galactic conferences in Return to Atlantis in 2013. So he's a friend of mine. I just interviewed him. And I've got a telescope. I've got binoculars. I'm always out there. And I worked in the space industry as well, in the satellite industry for years. And I'm like, oh, my God, I forgot. Let's get the night vision goggles. Let's get those now. To jump to the night vision goggles. Much easier to see through the infrared and the gamma rays.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, somebody gave me, I know a gamekeeper, and he had a pair of night vision binoculars, and he says, here, look up the way with them. And he was right into the UFOs, and he says, here, and I looked up with them, and I was like, they're everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
They was like going along, stopping, then zooming off, and then they were all going, then they were actually stopping, and then going in opposite directions to each other. And you're like, oh my God, the sheer amount of unidentified flying objects is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It just makes you wonder. Obviously, a lot of them are man-made. Obviously, black budget things that they've designed as new weapons and God, something like that. But obviously, there is the ones that are coming here to watch us and help us.
Yeah. We've got more motherships now in geostationary orbit, which is, if you look at the Earth, you've got the Earth's atmosphere, the gaseous layers, you've got lower orbit, middle orbit, and then what we call geostationary orbit. And that is where every single broadcast telecom piece of kit that's, broadcasting globally sits. And then we have the global Earth fleet of ships. Every single military on our planet, without exception, every single country on our planet, without exception, is all part of one particular space program. And that fleet of craft that they have is called Solar Warden. And I just think to myself, if people would just, that one thing I've just said right there, if you want proof that we have flying crafts, flying saucers, spacecraft, ourselves, just look up Solar Warden. I'm sure even Google can be bothered to tell the truth on that, It's just so frustrating to me. I'm like, oh my God, how many more times to say it? But I say it every broadcast I'm on, or every broadcast I do on my own channel, Solar Warden. And then everyone can go, oh God, because we want to feel safe. So if the people that watch this have never heard of Solar Warden, and they can get their head around, oh, right, the military have built spacecraft, and then they look it up and they can see it's true, it's easier for them, it's more palatable for them to accept that there are on and off-planet craft, that our governments have been working with off-planet brothers and sisters for millennia.
Yeah.
Again, it's old news, but it's just been kept from us. And then when it's kept from us, they try and scare us if we do find out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward.
When I met with Tony Rodriguez and we got to talking about my case, within a week, someone falsified their contact information as one of my sisters and started texting shooting threats to her workplace. And at the time, she was working as a handler, I guess would be a good term for special needs adults. She lost her job because of that. And she's pregnant. We still don't know 100% who did it.
There's so many scumbags out there. Many scumbags. You know, I'm so shocked at the violence in men, violent men coming for me. Like, I've got a couple of disgusting, filthy, non-human stalkers. And this one prick, he always wears a blanket over his head and he always hides his voice. And he says the most disgusting, evil things about me, like violent threats, just disgusting. My fiance died. The love of my life, he dropped dead. He had a heart attack. He died in my arms. I mean, you can't imagine how awful that was, right? How terrible that was to recover from and to be there. And that prick, his name's Frank Sasso. He's making videos saying, I murdered my beloved. And he's going to find out. And it's just so sick. It's so sick, these people. Yeah. I had a beautiful wine glass the other day with water because I don't drink. I rarely drink. And he made another video saying I'm drinking vodka. I'm like, dude, why are you so obsessed with me? You little prick. You won't even show your face. He also used off Instagram, because he must be really ugly, because he's used 2 fake profiles. I don't know who the first one is, but tons of people have taken pictures since the abuse started. So one of his profile pictures used was this guy covered in tattoos. So we didn't think he'd be that much of a scumbag. He would even hide his, lie. But it turns out he used a photograph of a guy called Danny G. Everyone let Danny G know on Instagram. This guy called Frank Sasso took his identity and was pretending to be him. So then we called it out online. Of course, he changed it again because that wasn't even him. But we found him. He looks like a Taliban guy, completely bald with a bit of a beard. And he's a gangbaiter. So not only is he attacking women, me and Elena Danan, for example, he gets people that come out of jail, men and women trying to get their lives back online, and he baits them. And again, he covers his head. He disguises his voice because he's such a pussy boy and a coward. But I've been really shocked that these men have been, this other guy, Todd Swearingen Angel, all he did was found my book on therapy for parents with divorced children, children who parents of divorce, a therapy book because I'm a therapist. It was at the Agape Church in LA in their bookstore because it's such a helpful book. And I was working with the African youth there for 6 months. And then this prick sees that, and because they've got a heart for their logo, it's a beautiful heart. It's agape love, it's love, agape love. And he decides from that's a pedophile sign, and now I'm a pedophile. And those men have really hurt my life. They've really harmed my life, my income. I had such terrible PTSD because I was getting death threats. Because people, I call them the 2D people, they're so stupid, some people. They believe all the shit they hear. Jennifer Aniston is a man. This person's a satanic. We don't have proof on everything. But as far as I'm concerned, the harm, and I am Scottish and I am a warrior. I'm a Highlander from Tongue and Sutherlandshire.
Yes.
Don't mess with us, Henderson, you fuckers.
Yeah.
And the English.
And McDonald's, I feel.
Right? McDonald's, I'll see your ass on the battlefield. Stand up.
We're on the way.
Let's go. All we'd have to do is run on the battlefield, and the English should just go, mummy, right? Yeah. But we'd be standing there with our fists, and the English would be standing there with their rifles. There's always been such an imbalance, and I don't care. Also, the Scottish Highlanders, if the English hadn't annihilated our history, we'd probably be sitting on the throne. Yeah. Or what's left of it.
Probably would be.
Reptilian throne, but the actual loving throne. And we'd all be brothers and sisters. And because the Scots, man, we love everyone. We love everyone, but dinna mess with us because we'll handle you out. And it won't be haggis.
Look, these guys that are doing this to you, they've obviously are sad individuals. And I hope you're watching this right now. You're sad individuals. And you should. I'm really annoyed actually because I get really annoyed when like Elena and you get attacked and stuff like that. But I'm going to hand it over to Dakota because I bet he's got something to say about this.
No, I'm going to say it too because I've seen the messages. I know that there's a lot of the same people targeting you, started targeting me ever since Elena and I came out, and that apparently I worked with Thorhan beforehand. And it's just,
I like a duel.
wow, these people are cowards. And honestly,
Yeah.
I would like to know, like Heather here says here in the chat, how the heck do you get the symbol of the heart as a pedophile symbol? I didn't even know that was a thing.
It's easy. You're a prick. You're a prick to start with. You've got no life. This is a married man with a wife and children. Like, your kids.
Yeah.
You're going to tell your kids you're violently threatening a woman online? You loser. I can't believe I'm mentioning their names again. I want to throw up. It's so disgusting to me. But something's fired up in me. I guess because I'm talking to two real men, and I'm just so disgusted. Like, where are the men? Where are the men defending us? We'd like some defense, please, against these pricks that keep going.
You know, it'd be really interesting to find out where this person stays and find out who he's married to, and then show his wife.
The one
Frank
Sasso freak, he's not married. He's definitely single because he's offered himself. He's a single freak. A lonely single freak, and he's so desperate to be friends with the Todd Swearing Jen Angel guy that he's making videos defending him, because listen, oi, Sasso, he is never going to invite you to dinner. Okay, lose that fantasy, and get some help, boy, get some friggin' help. But yeah, he watches everything I do, and he gets frenzied, and he's like, you don't want to fucking want it, like violent. I'll send you a clip, but don't put it out because I don't want to bring the freak more attention. But I'll send it to you. And he's a Pomona boy from that area, Frank Sasso. Yeah, disgusting, non-human. But the monsters are there to try and throw us off, to try and stop us, telling the truth and revealing the truth of our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, and that each of us is a really beautiful, powerful. We're the most amazing technology on the planet, and that's why the dark ones want our souls, want our light, and want us to keep us in fear.
There's no other way.
I don't really know what to say. I'm kind of one of these. I'm usually bad for talking all the time, but
yeah, I know you got him to shut up. That's a first.
But it makes you wonder. No, but here's an interesting fact. Like, see these people that are doing this. See these people that are doing this kind of thing. It makes you wonder if they're getting paid to do this.
Well, I think the sassy boy, he's used by the dark. Sorry to interrupt you, because if he comments like on a YouTube video, or he's moving his filth around inside of himself, we'll get like 100 bot attacks when it's all the same message, like, I don't know, something evil. And so we've learned that the dark are using him. And that's a sad thing as well for people that don't know they're owned by demonics. I mean, look at the leaders. The leaders have all done deals with different demons, and they get used for different things. It's so obvious. And all the demons right now are out of control. They're out of control. Yeah. Look at some of the leaders, and they've made different deals with different demons from different, like there's like 9 major demonic generals, and they all have demonics with them. And so we're starting to see signatures of these demonics, and this freak is just totally like an empty vessel owned by demonics. And like, you'll say things like, we exposed you. I did a skit the other day on that ugly evil monster Klaus, Dr. Evil, as we call him. Like, who the friggin' hell died and put him in charge? And so I made a fun, like, real jabbing at him, because I've called him out online. And I said, you will own nothing and you will be happy, to deliberately reverse the spell back on him and his minions, because of course we don't accept that. And I did a funny skit with my Irish friend the other day on my channel, where he held an image of Klaus up, and we just took the piss out of the fat basket of shite, that's not a leader and is nothing to do with me. Get off my planet, fuck nuts, get off my planet. You are not a leader.
He's no worth it. Oh, Klaus, it's the World Economic Forum, where they're wanting to bring in their 15-minute cities, and they're wanting to bring in everybody together and security, like 1984 kind of scenario. And kill the house pets. They're scum. They're all scum. And I'll tell you something, they're losing.
Oh, of course.
They're losing. It'll not be long before they're gone. It'll not be long before they're gone. I do believe soon they're all going to be gone, and they've not got long left.
I think it's interesting too that these twats, like, you know, I call him masturbates, right? You know, masturbates. Yeah, sounds like masturbates. Boros, you know, with the luggage under the eyes. Boros, you know, that bloke. You know who I mean. Sounds like Boros. Who's the other twat? Masturbates, Boros, Klaus, Dr. Evil. Let's just take those three, for example, these global leaders that they've put themselves in these positions. I mean, have you ever seen three more ugly blokes? Like, go to the dictionary, like ugly, fugly. There they are. It's unreal to me how unattractive to look at. But the inside matches the outside. And this is the other tell right now, the physical tell. You know, how seriously unattractive. And I don't care if that's unkind. They're murdering, raping, pedophilic fuckers. They're trying to take over our planet. And people are like, oh no, they'd never do that. Dude. Wakey.
I know. It's because I've met people that watch my shows and stuff like that, and they say, oh, the Klaus Schwab and all that, trying to build a better community, a 15-minute city. I know somebody that really wants 15-minute cities, and I've told them, I says, are you mad? Are you mad? You do realize it's like a 1984 scenario. They're wanting to like kill half the population of the planet. Did you see that, Dakota, where they want to like reduce the population? Is it like the 600 million people or something like that?
Yeah, by 2025.
Yeah,
2025. How are they going to do that?
Yeah.
They lost. So, well, that was part of the jabbing, you know, take as many out because not all people can handle that level of medicine in their system. But do you remember the Georgia tombstones, as I call them? The Georgia stones.
Yeah, and
these two stones here in a field in the 1970s in different languages, Arabic, Spanish, Greek, English, Aramaic. And then they were depicting that by certain times there will be 500,000 people left on the planet who will be slaves, and everyone else is going to be bumped off. Like those idiots, they thought we were going to go, oh, it's the new commandments. You know, like we're that stupid. And again, that's where they failed. They forget how brilliant we are, how clever we are. But the biggest thing they failed in is our ability to love, our ability to emote, our ability to be kind to each other. That's where they failed because they're sociopath, psychopath. Their psychopathy is not even measurable in terms of how dead they are on the inside. And the only thing that gets them going is the adrenal high they get from doing the opposite to what we would do. The depth of evil, that's where they get off on their adrenal high. You know, whereas I would get my adrenal high from dancing my ass off on the dance floor and laughing my head off, or like, this is an adrenal high for me, like hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? And they're the complete opposite.
You know, what is it, Dakota?
What?
You're worried in case I mentioned that.
I'm expecting something to come out of your mouth right now, man.
What, do you know this event that you're going to with Elena, the Dakota here? There's a disco after it, and I keep winding them up. Saying that he needs to get up onto the dance floor and he needs to do the Horror Picture Show. You know the Rocky Horror Picture Show. You know what was it? The Time Warp again. He needs to do that at this event. Can you make that happen for me?
I've never seen Rocky Horror
I'll
Picture
do it.
Show, man.
I will work in. I will when I reincarnate as a for the Galactic Federation. I will work for 1,000,000 years for them. If you can get him to do the what is it? The Time Warp again.
I'm familiar with the reference, but I've never seen the movie, so I wouldn't know. Plus, I'm a big man. If I go dancing, there's an earthquake.
I love Quake, darling. I love Quake.
There you go, Dakota.
Whoa, hello.
Send us the pictures.
Definitely. Wow, it's so weird doing a live and then not like checking myself and anyway, I've said what I've said, so there's no editing on this. It's just out there.
It's I don't know. But do you not feel better after getting all that off your shoulders? Do you not feel this is like therapy? Bald and Bonkers therapy. Come on to the show, you know, and get de-stress yourself.
Unleash the anger and the rage against my brothers and my
Aye.
sisters. Aye. I definitely
Aye.
feel more warrior-like because you're a Scot.
Aye. I mean, it's Dakota. Would you like to? Because you're looking.
Oh, I was not expecting this show to go like this, but hey.
Well, why don't you talk about, like, you asked me about my first experiences. Why don't I tell you about my very first alien interaction?
All right.
Please do.
Okay. The very first memory I have of being in the room with an alien was I remember this huge, beautiful, tall being with this huge head. How we would see, not a gray, but a kind of a large-headed, beautiful, huge blue indigo eye, wearing some kind of a long cloak. And I was a baby, and he was placing me back into my crib. And as he's putting me in my crib, I remember sitting back and then touching the back of the crib, the wood in the crib.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sitting there looking at him, and he glides backwards across the room, and he's standing by the curtains, and he's like this. And then I look down and I can see the door, bedroom door, and there's a light on the landing light outside. That's the only light. And then my mum comes in, and I remember her saying, "Oh, she's awake." And I could speak fluently at 19 months, so I still wasn't able to express properly at this age. And then I remember looking across at him, and he just kind of like that. And then she picks me up, takes me outside, and it's dark. It's nighttime, and I'm so confused. I'm thinking, I didn't understand. Why was it dark? Why are the stars there? Where is the sun? And I want to be with him. I want to be back with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a long time to understand and realize that this beautiful being, his name is Annex, and he is very known to Elena. And this is also another linking her and I together in the journey that we're on, not just as best friends in this lifetime, but we've also been with the very same beautiful extraterrestrials. And so Annex was the very first being, and I'd been taken upstairs for a checkup. They call it a checkup. So I wasn't abducted. I don't have a drama story because I definitely know me. Yeah. And I would have demanded, I am not coming in with an abduction story. I'm not playing that game. I'll come in with a big mouth, galloping horses, and screaming truth. And I will take my experiences as I go, and they'll be revealed as I get older and older.
I find that so touching that he came to see you when you were just a baby. And it makes you wonder, because with Dakota, a lot happened with Dakota in his life with extraterrestrials and things like that. And I find that beautiful that he came to see you, and he's probably looked after you until you grew up. Maybe you just couldn't see him. Did you ever see him again after that? Did you ever see him again after?
Yes, I did. I'll tell you the last time I saw him. I was in my house in Costa Rica. So when Jeff suddenly died, we planned to go to Costa Rica together to go surfing. He was a surfer. And I was such a zombie. I was so dead because it was such a shock. I mean, he was my future. I planned the next 60 years of my life with this man. We were engaged to be married. And anyway, so I was such a zombie. All I could think to do was continue the plan that we had. So I ended up in Costa Rica. Very quickly, I ended up buying a house on top of a mountain, and it had all glass walls all the way around it. And it was in the jungle canopy. And it's so amazing because underneath the house was built on stilts, and the rocks were granite rocks, crystalline granite rocks. And the beach down below in Santa Teresa were also, you get huge crystals washing up. It was a really, really amplified crystalline environment. And so I'm on top of this mountain in this crystalline environment, glass windows all the way around, inside the jungle canopy. And I'm sitting on my laptop like this, talking to someone, FaceTiming with someone. And then, as always, what happens is I sense the shift of frequency in the room, and I know something's coming in. And so I sense it's like, zzz, and I look, and this huge, because I'm sitting with my legs in front of me, So I kind of look up, and he's about 9 foot, Annex. And he doesn't walk across the room to me. He's gliding. He's so beautiful. He's just so different. And he's gliding across the room. But he made me jump. I wasn't expecting him. And at the same quantum second I see Annex, I look across, and there's the most handsome man I have ever seen to this day in my life. This blonde Adonis. And I could see his profile. So his hair was kind of straight to here and then wavy. It was Thorhan. Thorhan. My brother Thorhan.
Yeah.
And so I look and I screamed F off because they made me jump, and I'm a Scot and we're violent.
You telling me?
We'll beat the crap out of someone and go, oh, sorry. I'll put you on, you know. But so I respond before I think sometimes. And then it was funny because when I recalled back in my mind, which to anyone who's ever had an experience, we can always, in the moment something's happened, and then you go, oh, go back, take a breath into the body, because the mind has already captured that. The mind made a recording of that. You can always go back there. So I did that. I sat going, oh. And I'm like, oh my God, that was Thorhan and Annex. And then Thorhan, the way he looked at me, so he's kind of like this. So I'm screaming F off, and he kind of went,
yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, Dani. For God's sake, Dani. Honestly. Jesus. Yeah. And there was another time soon after that where Elena was being horrifically abused and attacked by one particular at that time, very public figure. And she's just such a tender heart. I can't stand how cool people are to her. You know, they expect her to be like them. She's not like you, boo. Jesus, how many humans do you think could have stepped up like she has? Of course she's not going to respond like everybody else does. She's Elena friggin' Danan, you know. And so I was so angry with upstairs that my friend is so upset and crying. Anyway, so I was trying to comfort her on the phone, and we hung up, and then I went into a blue bonnet rage. I mean, I was effing, screaming, petitioning, like swearing at the Galactic Federation of Worlds, calling them all mofos, saying how effing dare you let that girl drop, how dare you. And then all of a sudden, this massive, giant, like a big plasma bubble came in. I was in the bedroom in the same house in Costa Rica. This huge bubble, and it's Thorhan and Ardana in the bubble together. And she is like, I mean, she's a little bit insulted, and that's all right. She's to the side talking to him, and he said to me, "Tell her it will not be what she thinks." And I'm like, "Oh, hi guys. Oh, sorry about the swearing, you know, but hey, got your attention." Anyway, so I called her back and I went, "Oh my God, Lainey, listen. Thorhan and Andana, they came and Thorhan said," and I gave her the message. The thing is, and it was so nice because it was confirmed as well. Like Elena has an implant, which she makes I mean, the Greys put the implant in her. Another thing, these little 2D nasty little bitches. Like, she's got an implant, She was kidnapped and abused by Greys. She was abused so badly, she can't have children. Okay? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Sit down and shut up. Fucking evil bastards judging her. So anyway, when she is in a chronic state of upset like that, they can't get through to her for those few minutes. You know, she can turn it on and off. And so it gave me an opportunity again to see and recognize that, you know, I mean, I will support Elena Danan until the end of the universe. I will defend her as I do. And of course, I remember, you know, so I got a picture of Valnek on my phone from when he came. And he came to say goodbye to Elena and I on one night in November 2021 because he had to be released from his military duty because the girl that he was at one time communicating to started bullshitting. lying. And again, see, when I go there, you know what happens? The undeveloped humans, the uneducated, the 2D people, what they do is they, in their minds, because they're so programmed, they can only, hang on, I just got a whack there, have that whack back. The only way they can deal is by looking at it like girls being mean girls. They don't have the evolved intelligence to look at the actual situation. Like, it's not girls being mean girls. It's humans protecting other humans from the wrong information coming through. And it wasn't even me and Elena that decided, of course, Valnek was going to be removed from his position. The Andromedans got involved. The Andromedans poke the bear at the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Commander Ardana had to find out who in the ranks is being looked at by the Andromedans. Is there a potential a dishonest military person? And Valnek was fingered for that. And he had to stand. He was almost court-martialed. And Commander Ardana stood for him. And it was proven that the girl had, she has an implant too. And that had been programmed. We call it a Trojan horse. And so now AI runs her. And so she's still lying every day, still to this day. And her channel is supported by the deep state as someone to go against Elena. So stupid people out there still see that as two silly girls on YouTube. Like, dude, go home.
There is so many stupid people out there. I mean, I watch a lot of rubbish. I'll admit that. I watch a lot of rubbish on YouTube and on TikTok. Yes, I know TikTok's famous for it. And I came across one the other night there, and they were going on about the Greys and how the Greys were here to help us, and how the Greys are going to save us all, but we must do what they tell us.
Oh my God!
And I was,
no.
I'm not kidding you. It was maybe like 800 people sending them roses and stuff, saying, "Oh, this is amazing! I can't wait to meet the Greys." And I'm sitting there like,
"Oh my God, wow!"
I'm sitting like that. I just sit and look at it, and I'm like, "Oh no."
Wow.
Why? And this is the stupid people on this plane. But then again, they might just be like young souls. They might just be first timers, as one would say.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of holographic play, but there's also the fact that everybody that tried to take the planet over knew this was going to happen. So now these are the end games that are playing out, the distractions. They'll still try and harvest as many souls as they can. And there are people, again, so desperate to be famous. And the old program that played out on that false timeline of the Greys taking over, because the Greys literally tried to hybridize. That's why they raped so many little girls, took so many eggs, tried to hybridize themselves into the human race. Who the frig wants to look like them? They stink like us. They look like us, but they are definitely not us. The human is not grey. The future of humanity is not grey. It is human. And it's really sad things that have happened, but they are so beyond their reach. And it's just the last programs running in people, like that girl. The girl I mentioned that lies about channeling Valnek. Valnek is a gay man. This girl used to say she was married to him. She used to fantasize about having children with him. All delusion. So Valnek is gay, and he has a beautiful boyfriend called Merkak, and they are on a different part of the star system. And Valnek works as an ambassador, helping a civilization that's really got a lot of unrest, but he's such a beautiful being, Valnek, that he is there in place of support and help. So we get to, it's so nice. The other thing I want to say as well is that it really, because even though I'm in this, I'm involved in this, I've physically seen and met with these beautiful beings, and still sometimes I have to like go, are you on drugs? Which I don't do drugs, I barely do. Yeah, do you know what I mean? But I still do a check-in with myself, because some things that happen, it's just for a minute there, it's like, whoa, Nelly, whoa, you know, it's crazy. Damn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. And I remember when Alex called me, Alex Collier, he called me and he went, Dani, there's a problem. I'm like, oh, shit. And I really was like, you know, Alex is calling me like really. I mean, you hear that man get mad. You don't want to hear that man get mad. I mean, you saw him get mad when he ripped Ishmael Perez a new one for Ishmael Perez lying again and again and again and saying that him and Alex are friends, and that was the final straw for Alex. It's like, mate, we are not friends. Scumbag. He called him a fucking fly, didn't he? Fucking fly. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that tosser. Let me talk about Alex, the good person. So Alex calls me and he's like, Dani, there's a problem. That chick, there's something wrong. She's infiltrated. She's over pleasing. We're really concerned. The Andromedans are concerned. Dani, this is serious. I'm like, oh God. Same time, I'm getting information from the Pleiadians, from Elena. And I'm like, and I was the one that had to make that call. It was me. I was the one that called that girl. I was the one that said to her, step down or you will be stepped down. And she said, I don't want to step down. I don't want to step down. She took on Michael Salah. She took on Michael Salah and said, good luck, and bullshit. And she's bullshitted and lied and whatever. But, whatever. I mean, she wants to be famous on YouTube. Go right ahead. She's backed by the deep state and shills. She's got a channel that's way too big and she talks bollocks about nothing. And it's just masses and masses of, okay, I don't know who's chucking that energy, but you're going to get it back 1,000 times. Watch yourself out there. Watch it. It's when we do live. That's because we do live. We're doing a live, right? So I can feel that energy coming in. But,
that's weird.
Did you feel that too?
That's weird. I just said, I heard that somebody say something, but it was a female's. It was like a woman or a young lady's voice.
Yeah, it was a woman. It was female, definitely. But see, they think the witches and the warlocks now, they're doing their damnedest. They're doing their worst. They're hubbling and bubbling and toiling and troubling. But they're really, really on a sticky wicket because what they used to plug into as a dark frequency, a soul harvested frequency, it's done. It's reversed. There's another little stinky shit boy out there, Matthew something, and he got hold of Tony Rodriguez at a conference and wiped a salve that he made. He's a black magic wizard boy, desperate to be famous, banishing this and banishing that, and he wiped a salve, a shit that stank of shit. So all the dog ends that have been out there trying to build themselves and trying to bring others down, they're like their light is shining on them, and there's no room, so people are going to listen and resonate with who they resonate with. People are going to either recognize that none of us are important. It's them that's important. If they don't have that self-love, they're not going to get in with the healing that they came to do and be part of their own personal ascension. Because it is a personal ascension, So we can look at me ranting and raving and fizzing and bubbling and all of that. And that is part of my true feeling because I so love humanity. And sometimes I'll shout and yell because I don't want to cry, because my heart hurts so badly for those that are just still really struggling, and that just don't have any freedom in their souls, So as a Scot, I want to I'll fight my way out of it. I'll emotion my way out of it rather than, you know what I mean? Just break and cry. But it's up to everyone to have their own freedom of ascension and their own release and just let go of the ego personality, admit you're wrong. We've been wrong. I've been wrong about so much. I still might fuck up. And if I do, I'll own it. We don't all get it right.
It's weird because for a long time I used to be, I wouldn't forgive people for things, and see now I just forgive everybody now because I know that's the way that you're meant to be. I think it's weird. It's ever since I met Dakota here, and ever since I experienced his wife. Well, I obviously didn't ken it was his wife at that time, but the first time I experienced Dakota's, it was what was it? Was it when was it Lisa Fry we had on? Or was it our first time we had Elena on?
It was Lisa, the one that told us to start looking up in regards to that. When I showed her the picture of my daughter,
Dakota didn't show me the picture. I met Dakota at a thing, and I was in this place, and I met this woman. She was beautiful, outstanding, and very Palladian now. Obviously, when I look at it that way, she's very, very that way. And then Dakota showed me a picture, and that was her. And it was weird because I felt like I knew her. but I don't know where for. It was weird. It was. I think it was always meant to be. I think this is my path, and the kind of paranormal side of stuff. It's a strange feeling. It really is. But I've came to the understanding now. Everybody that's done me wrong, or I've done things wrong, I want forgiveness, and I forgive them. Even doesn't matter what they've done to me. I forgive them. Different.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one. I mean, for me, one of the worst things that we were taught and programmed to accept is turn the other cheek. You know, and I spent the first part of my life doing that and then getting beaten up all the time, all the time, so many beatings. And in the end, I'm like, okay, you touch me, I'm going to punch you. You know what I mean? And so I do believe in self-defense. And even now, I mean, I would scrap if somebody came at me. I wouldn't advise it. I really wouldn't, because I scare myself. That I think I've been attacked so many times. I just have this natural propensity. Ask my brothers. They both ended up with black eyes, thinking it's funny to jump out on me, which it really isn't. And they're giants. These are giant men. But yeah. But no, just being strong. But the art of forgiveness, the beautiful thing about that for me is it's not necessarily forgiving what they did. It's just getting that load off you. It's releasing that load, that agony off you, because then you can start your healing. You don't necessarily, agree and just go, yeah, it was fine that you raped me, you beat me, you did this, you did that. No, it's really not fine. But you just have to let that piece of you go. You can't hold that agonizing weight any longer and heal with all that darkness in you. You have just said, well, I've just learned to hand it back to them, give it back to them, lay it back at their feet and walk away. But don't have I hope you hurt with it. That's the trick too. In giving the energy back and being neutral to it. To me, that's the art of forgiveness.
Yeah. Beautifully
said. Are you hearing like something? It was weird because I thought it was weird because I started getting that ringing in my ear. I get that every time something goes weird, I get a weird, it's almost my left ear and it's like a high pitched ringing. Mm-hmm. And I noticed your experience. Did you experience it there, Dakota?
Yeah, I'm going to have to listen back on the playback with this, but I've been hearing something trying to patch through for most of this show, actually.
I got a click, 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 click. It's probably upstairs, just kind of, just giving a thumbs up. We're here. And I've got masses of light in here, up here, protection. Because, there was someone trying to be a smart ass out there throwing negative energy. And though it wasn't you and it wasn't you and it wasn't you, yeah, it was you. Yeah, they were a couple trying, just trying to see if they're powerful or not. But it's painful too, because we're such warriors now. We know how to create frequency in our field. So if someone calms, they're going to get a response to the energy that they send. Because that's the other thing. Even if people pay someone to do spells, the person that created and spent the money and did and wanted the spell with the intention, person that sent the spell, how stupid do you have to be? If you are connected to that evil, of course there's going to be a recurrence. And the boomerang effect is going to be much bigger. It goes out, it gathers round, it comes back. I used to work on television in Britain, a live TV show. And so people could call in for readings because I was like the resident life coach and the resident therapist. And, I'd give different advices. And sometimes I do angel card readings or I do pendulum readings or whatever. And I could never believe there are a few witches. And I started to figure out who they were. And they honestly thought that it was fine to send out that negative energy. And every single one of them I saw fall. Yeah. One of them I saw literally have her gifts swiped. It was like the hand of the gods just came and swiped her like this. It was literally like that I witnessed. And then she froze live on television and she couldn't talk. And I sat there off camera watching her, because I was on next after her. And I was thinking, that's what you get. When you lie to people, when you lie to the public, when you take their money, when you pretend you're this and you're not, in the 2D bit with the little Facebook bullies that all do the pooey selves and that's fine for them. But for those who are in the arms of love, the highest souls, the ones who have come to be part of this ascension, heal themselves and then help lift up their brothers and their sisters. They're the ones who, well, we're all seeing it now. They're the ones that get to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's, Ken, this is going to sound strange, but I feel really cold. See round about me, I have got a spirit that hangs round about me, but it's no him. There's somebody else here, and I don't know who it is. It's weird. I can sense somebody. I can sense someone. It's weird. It's no. It doesn't feel like a spirit. It feels staticky.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Staticky.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an ET, so you can feel the difference. When I know a spirit, whether it's good, with angelic, human that's crossed, darker entity, dark magic entity, demonic, because they all come in different frequencies, or ET. And the ET, again, there's a different grading too, like the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, the Arcturians. They come in on different frequencies, but it's a completely different bandwidth that I feel in my physical body and I can sense with my field through the spirit realm. Very, very different. So I think you're getting a kind of a confirmation of, you're recognizing this is not a human, a disembodied spirit. This is a different crack. This is an ET frequency that you're.
I experience spirits quite a lot because I do ghost stuff and things like that. And my house is haunted. It has got a ghost in it, and a really nice guy actually. But never mind that. But this doesn't feel like a spirit. It feels so much more powerful, but old. It's weird. It's so very nice. I feel like they're just here to watch and learn and just listen. I feel like they're watching over us. I don't know why. It was maybe because of you in Dakota. But it's what you feel in the Dakota.
Yeah, it's
quite intense.
It's
It's the beloveds. I think as well, because there are people watching this live too, that they get to also anchor in, because there's three of us. So we're anchoring in energy frequency and talking about it. And so it makes it more real for them. And this is all in real time. So they can actually check in with themselves. What is it I am feeling? What am I sensing? How can I tell the difference? How can I discern between spirituality, human, disembodied spirits, dark, light, whatever, to the extraterrestrial? Because like I said, it is very different. At least that's how I reference it. It is a very different frequency. Yeah. And it's not scary. You'll know if it's scary. You'll feel there's something off. There's a discord. Like there is a discord with a spirit. There is a discord with a negative alien too.
Ken, this has got to sound weird, and it's what Heather Feather says in the chat there. I feel like someone's put their arms round about me.
Ah, darling. That's nice.
That's what I feel like right. Aye, that's what I feel like right now. I feel like it's they are watching us. Strange. It is quite strange, because with the spirits it's different, because the spirit comes into my room quite regular, and it changes, the temperature changes and things just go. It's nice temperature, and I can feel it feels really staticky. Really staticky.
Yeah, beautiful.
You know?
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I don't tolerate ghosts or spirits coming anywhere near me unless I'm in session with someone. That I have woken up 1,000 nights with 10 people at the end of my bed that I see as clearly as I see you two, and I will not have it. I will not. I do not stand for it any longer. No, too many nights of terror.
I've experienced that. I've experienced them standing at the bottom of the bed. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they kind of like stand at the side of the bed. They all have got to like just sit and wait for you to wake up, as if it's like a joke to them. Get what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah, because they know you're
okay?
clairvoyant. Yeah, they know you can see. You're a seer. You're clairvoyant. So, and you and I And Dakota, so people that can see the spirits, we have a light resonance in us that they can spot a mile away. They'll go, oh, she'll see me. Oh, he'll see me. You know, and so they show up. Some of them don't, they're not going to move to the light. They want to stick with the earth addictions, or they want to stay here. Or some of them, it's so sad, they're so scared to go to their next plane because they've been programmed by religion that they're going to go to hell, and they believe that. So they stay stuck. That's so sad. I've definitely supported a great deal of beloveds, you know, home, you know, that way. But gosh, I could tell you 1,000. And my book's coming out soon. It's Angels, Demons, and Aliens, and it's a whole cacophony, of all of my experiences with these 3 different types of beingnesses: angels, aliens, and demons. So that's going to be fun. And then
I'm going to look forward to that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out in August, and I'll have it at the conference. It's going to be, I think I'm going to buy a ton and put them in a lot of the guest bags, the attendees, so I can give
Sweet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You've not done it on the time warp.
Next time I'm coming to Scotland, I'm gonna whack you with it.
It'll be a spirit or an extraterrestrial at the bottom of my bed. It'll be Dakota standing with hands coming towards me.
Hey, you've already seen me popping your room out of nowhere.
I know. I think I don't really talk that much about my experiences with the extraterrestrials. I talk about it with Dakota, and I keep it that way. I'm just a strange kind of person, right? I keep it Dakota, and then I have my odd times where I go strange, and I've always wondered who I really was, because I obviously human, but was I human before this? See, that's the question. Who was I before I came here? And it's always interesting, because I don't think I've always been on this plane of existence. I've been somewhere else.
I think there's a majority of people who are on the planet now who have also had many other experiences as other beingnesses, also as animals, also as men and women, also as androgynous, asexual extraterrestrials, because they look at us and we're terrestrials to them too, you know.
Yes, see, that's the thing with me is I think this is the first time on Earth for me. I think I've been other places.
Yeah.
Because I'll talk to you after the show or whatever, but it's quite interesting. Dakota, you okay, man? You look like you're zonking out there.
I'm definitely feeling something.
Yeah. It's been absolutely fantastic tonight. Honestly, this has been one of our awesomest shows. It really has been, hasn't it, Dakota? It's been amazing, you know.
Oh, I won't be able to watch it back. I find it really hard, especially because I've just, was so raw, and I find it really embarrassing, like looking at myself. I'm just doing what I'm doing, but I'm not normally the one interviewed either. I'm normally the one doing the interviews, or I'm normally the one loving my friends onto the stage and bigging them up. And then as much as that, I am a gobby cow, obviously, but I do cringe, old butt content.
You're Scottish like me.
You're
Scottish like me.
Yes, Scottish like you.
Hey.
Gobby cow. Quit your greeting and get on, Steve.
Hey.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so this was fun. You guys are lovely. You're just so lovely. And can I just say something else about Elena Danan? Again, she's such a humble, sweet girl. And I remember she went on your channel when you first started, and you had a few hundred people on YouTube. Like, but there are those that will go, oh God, no, you need at least 1 million for me to come on your show.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that treat people like that. But she's just she feels with her heart everything. She reads with her heart. And so she obviously early on felt that there was something really special and safe. That's important, safe with you guys, which is why it was like 2 years ago she came on your channel, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, she's been on what, about is it 3 times now she's been on?
Yeah, Elena was one of the first guests we had on when we started this gig, Chris.
Yeah. That's right.
What a guess.
I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that Elena and you and Dakota, I do think these are going to change the world. I think in a year's time, everything's going to change, everybody. And I think you guys are going to lead the way. I really do think you are going to lead the way. I don't know where this is coming from. It's a weird feeling I've got, and these are going to create something new.
Well, I don't know about Dakota, but for me, it's like I feel we all find each other. So like there's three of us in the screen, like, and each of us has an energetic part to play. And it doesn't mean you have to have a big mission or get out there and be a speaker or this or that. We have a little bit of energy to link with each other, to create that resonance, that higher frequency of love, you know? So, and I think that people that watch like your show, for example, similar resonance of love, you know, curious and wanting to heal and wanting to drop their pain. And, you know, so thank you for saying that. I don't think that I'm going to change the world. That's rather butt clenching, embarrassing, but, you know, we'll see. I mean, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't ever put myself anyone that would choose a role, let's say Elena, Alex Collier, Michael Saller, Jean-Charles Moyen, I mean, our beloved brothers, nobody in their right mind, nobody in their true, humble, loving mind would put themselves out there the way they do. And then I realized I'm doing the very same thing. And I'm interviewing these beautiful people, and I'm making statements and claims, and that are all true as far as I'm, you know, in my beingness and my honoring for humanity. I was like, why the hell did I do this? I mean, I guess if I went back down the timeline, would I choose to do this? No. Did I choose to do this? No. Not in my conscious awareness. Clearly on another level I did. But I'm like, now I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking, Dani? You dozy cow. Why did you sign up for this? You know what I mean? Like, who would choose it? It's not free.
As I'm going to rephrase my question a wee bit, I think everybody in the community and your community and the disclosure and everything, I think these are building a future. You're waking people up. And I don't think it'll be long before everything comes out. And hopefully the world will be a different place. Hopefully we'll change. I would like to see it in my lifetime. I would like to see the world change, become a better world, and stop fighting with each other just because of simple things, stupid things. We should be among the stars. We should be among the stars, helping the Federation help other worlds that are the same as us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I will say, and I will put my whole beingness and reputation on the line. We are there. It is changing, and you better watch this space within the next 12 months, like inside. It's already happening. There's no stopping what's happening. No. There's going to be some real fearful things that do happen around as the systems are crumbling. We're going to be put into situations where they're trying to make us be so frightened, but we just have to keep pushing through, because it has already happened. It's like the walls have fallen and we are trampling through. And we don't accept the small group of fetid turds that put themselves at the top of this planet to continue another day.
Exactly.
So,
Dakota?
I will say this. Yes, and there's no simple other way to really put it, but situations like we have now, we are living in times that obviously the world isn't going to be changing. It's like I always say, it's the freaking 2020s. Nothing's impossible anymore. But nevertheless, something huge is coming, and honestly, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be easily confused, easily frightened, but there are others out there who will get it. They may jokingly say you're crazy, but they also know from personal experience that dealing with this stuff will make you a bit crazy. Yeah. I mean, I'll say it. I had hair before I came to Earth.
He keeps going on about that. Ken something, when I get back up there, I'm going to say, I want to see a picture of him. Because obviously I'm older than Dakota. So I'm going to see that. I'm going to get back there first. So I want to see a picture.
I've shown you a picture. One.
His maybe blonde hair flowing in the wind, you know.
No, it was more brown hair, but anyway, no, we'll say this. And I do feel like what you put together with GSIC is an excellent opportunity, and congrats on tickets getting sold out. I saw that when I was setting this session up, and I honestly can't wait to see what happens in October when I come down there.
That's so sweet. So GSIC, Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection, our second conference. We're putting another layer of tickets out. I'm just going to cap the room at a certain number because I don't want people to come and feel all crammed in. You know, I could sell every ticket. I could be all about the money. That's not what this is about, obviously, for me. It is about bringing the information. I cannot believe the lineup of speakers that we have. We're going to drop the biggest friggin' bombs in disclosure, saying the things in full that we can't say online because of the Chinese and Nazi censorship. And of course, the government's trying to stop us talking. I cannot tell you the level of technology that has been hidden off our planet that's going to be at that conference. Yeah. You're going to get to try out a med bed, Palladian blankets. Oh my God, the Deems device, take a picture with Curly in photography, hold a Deems, which is space technology, and then see how your frequency shifts. So many products. And I single-handedly interview every single vendor. No one's getting in with reptilian soul harvesting equipment or anything like that. No. And we will have armed guards. Again, it will be the most comfortable, beautiful, elegant environment. On the Friday night, we've got Nikki Allen, who's a very famous psychic medium, coming to do a 2.5 hour in the evening demonstration. The day starts with Elena Danan telling the true history of Atlantis with an actual Atlantean crystal. That's for a kickoff, wow. Right? And then as we go through the day, I forget who else is next. Because I haven't got the schedule in front of me, but I'll just the most amazing speakers, and then go for dinner, come back. There's a 2.5 hour demonstration, how to connect to heaven, how to connect to your loved ones, how to drop the grief in your body from having lost loved ones and receiving messages from her on stage too. And then we got day 2, again, back-to-back speakers, all the vendors. Saturday night, an extra ticket is a dinner and a disco. I can't bloody believe how expensive hotels are. I cannot believe the expense on food. You know, it's like that's another ticket, but I think the profit on that's like $10 a head, like nothing. You know, people are going, why is it so expensive? I'm like, Jesus Christ, you've got Elvis Presley, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, all in one place. Come on. You know, and of course the speakers get paid thousands of dollars. Of course they do. You pay your speakers, you get their hotel rooms, you pay their flights, you treat them like the royalty they are. Without the speakers, there's no conference. You know, someone's wrote the other day, does the ticket include the rooms? No, of course it bloody doesn't. How could it possibly? And then people don't know, but plus some people don't know that each ticket, there's hard costs in that. They go, oh, $6.55 a ticket. That means how many people are like, just stop doing that. You know, people get their ants in their pants and judge, and it's just like, come or don't come. You know, and if you can't come, you can get the DVD recordings or whatever they on Vimeo after. But it's just going to be off the charts. And last year was incredible. This year, I cannot even believe. We had literal ETs in the audience last year. We had actual physical craft above the hotel. We've got footage of it all of it. It was beyond. It was just beyond. Oh my God, it was so beyond. And the love in the room. I'm so glad I managed to talk dear Alex Collier into at least coming into the audience, because he retired last year and we gave him a beautiful award, a lifetime achievement award. I do love Alex. And this year I'm like, please come. And I thought I'd almost talked him into coming out of retirement. He's like, Dani, I've retired. I stand by my word. I'm like, well, will you just come? Can you introduce a couple of people, please? Anyway, so he's coming, but he's also bringing technology, representing technology. It's called the quantum wave technology. And this is technology that he's connected to, where some people who are called white hats have literally taken medbed technology out of storage And the technology will not be all at the conference for Alex. So Chris O'Connor's medbed, Larry Bayshaw's medbed, yes, this is a separate medbed. But Alex Collier is also connected to this technology. And so it's come out from the highest military arenas, and he'll be there on a vendor table, meeting the public, meeting the attendees, and discussing this technology too. It's like, I'm all about no holds barred. Who decides when we're ready? Go away, we're ready. You know, and this conference is all about that too, for everyone. Respect everyone, share everything, hold nothing back. You know, that's got to stop right now. On my watch, that stopped. That's why I've created this conference too. Let's have it.
This conference sounds absolutely awesome. I'm going to come next year. Bugger it.
I think we need a stadium next year. I think it's just growing. It's just this kind of movement. It's just like the biggest, the best conference in disclosure ever, bar none. The caliber of everyone, the audience, the sophisticated audience. That was the other wonderful thing. There were people that have come out of that conference last year. I've got this beautiful spinning gold light right here. They came out of the conference meeting their soul family, connecting to their brothers and their sisters, and it was just beyond. I couldn't have. Yes. I just couldn't have. Makes me want to cry. Couldn't have even known. Just couldn't have known what this was going to be. It's really beautiful.
Send me pictures.
I'll try. Apparently, they keep disappearing.
It's the med beds that I'm looking forward to, because I suffer from a lot of health problems and stuff like that. That's something that in the disclosure and stuff like that, when it does get rolled out, that's the first thing I want to show you is a med bed.
You know, this is the year too. There's so many that have been manufactured that are coming and rolling out. They're going to be in all the hospitals. There are so many different types of med beds. People don't always realize there's some you stand up in, some you lay down in, some you sit in. They've got different coverings. They've got different modalities on them. The one that we're going to have for people to try is not going to grow a limb. There are medical beds that can and do that, which the military have known about, of course, and they've repaired soldiers that have been on off-planet missions. But now we talk about it, we share it, the people have access to the technology. Now it's all out. But those kinds of med beds, but what you doing, Dakota?
Just a realization about something.
Yeah. You want to share?
Might be a little graphic for the audience.
Really?
Basically, part of the recall thing I've been doing, I've been trying to put my stuff a bit more together, write a book. And one of the revelations was that apparently I make the joke that before Earth I had hair, but that's been my main tell on which lifetime I'm trying to remember. And there's this point where I'm strapped to a table, basically gutted open, and a reptilian is physically messing around inside me. He realizes I'm awake, literally squeezes my lungs as I try to scream. There's an explosion in the distance that scares him off. I'm just left there, and some tall blonde man, by the time that part comes to it, the second I realize that someone's human's coming, I'm like, oh, thank God. It's just, they had to do something to repair me, how bad I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Jean-Charles Moyen tells a story where he was kidnapped as a little boy, put into the French military space program. And he tells where he was wearing a spacesuit, but these are the most advanced technology that the military upstairs have. And these are suits you can't really penetrate too deep. It's that they've got all this different tech on them. They make these men truly super soldiers and women. And he's in a fight with a literal reptilian. And this reptilian swings its tail and slices its tail, razor cuts into Jean-Charles. And Jean-Charles Moyen is literally dying. And they take him and they put him into a medical incubator, a med bed, and he is repaired. It goes down the timeline. This is the technology Alex is talking about too. It maps the original DNA blueprint of the being, because every part of the mapping of the body is inside each single cell in the DNA, in the fluid. And so it can map literally before conception to now. And I know that sounds really Star Trek for people and a bit way out there, but I really don't care. You know, people will come to the information when they do, or they won't, and that's okay too. It's okay. It doesn't matter. I say now, like, everyone's in the back rear view mirror that can't keep up with this, but don't worry, because we got you guys. We got you. Not everybody needs to know everything. You know, just know that beautiful, wonderful, incredible technology is coming for us as humans, and liberation of this planet is coming right now, this second, as for humans. And the leadership that you looked up to and the religions that you were programmed by, they are off ski. They are off ski. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been amazing tonight. I think this has been one of the best shows I think we've done this year. Honestly, I think it's been absolutely fantastic. So Dakota, would you like to say a few words before the end?
We'll just want to say thank you, Dani, for coming on. Glad you didn't hurt your elbow this time. We tried to get her on before she ended up canceling because she somehow hurt her elbow. Yeah, it's a playful tease. I mean no harm.
No, I thought I'd broken it. I was hoovering and I elbowed the wall. And oh my God, I thought I'd shattered. I was in agony. I was weeks. I was in agony. I did that in Kauai, my house in there, where I was living in Kauai. Yeah. But yeah, I'm here. I'm so honored that you have me. Thank you.
Okay, and like I said before, I am looking forward to meeting you, Annalena, obviously, and everybody else in October. I got my ticket. I'm ready. I'm excited.
Thank you so much for coming. Honestly, it's just been absolutely awesome. It really has.
Oh, bless you.
Would you like to? And thank you, everybody in the chat, for coming to, all new subscribers and stuff. Thank you so much.
Good, because I did advertise and I said I'm coming in with you guys, so that's great. And again, let's share. Everyone should be sharing each other. Everyone should be sharing each other's platforms. You know, just get us all out there. You know, we all deserve to be bringing the love and the information. My final words, I would just say, guys, thank you so much. I admire you, honor you, respect you for the great work that you do. It takes guts and courage to do what you're doing. I know that you have big hopes and desires to build a network to help as many people as you possibly can. And that's just such an honorable charge to hold, and a heartfelt charge. And anything I can do to support you, of course, I absolutely will. And to everybody watching, I just send you so much love from my heart to yours. And I know I'm a little bit much for some people, probably why I'm still single. But hard work. I'm not. No, I joke with that. But no, it's an honor to be able to share information and truth of my own personal experiences. And I hope that it bolsters people. I hope that they can see themselves somewhat in some of the experiences I've had, and then trust their own experiences is not delusion or not what their friends tell them they're crazy, and they just ignore that and just anchor in. But also to recognize that one experience isn't going to be enough to create a whole career for you, or maybe a whole book. You know, some people think, oh my gosh, the model I've been fed is I've had something amazing happen. I need to make money from it, a book from it, a movie from it. And that may be not everyone's journey. Not everybody needs to go down that path. But, you know, bloom where you're planted, shine your light, focus on your inner healing. That to me is the most important thing, and love on that inner child inside of you.
Yeah.
I think there's no better way to end the show. Much love, ladies and gents. We'll see you next time.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you see Bald and Bonkers for even more insanity. Be sure to spread the love to the Bald and Bonkers Boys' other endeavors. And a special thank you to our audience, guests, and everyone else who helps make this crazy ride happen. Amazing things are ahead. Learn more by visiting www.baldandbonkers.net. See you next time. Much love and take care.